Every April, the NFL Draft is a 3-day television spectacle. But there's another draft, smaller, stranger, riskier. It happens in July. Since 1977, only a handful of players have been taken. Most never played a snap. But these 10, they became legends. From academic fraud to drug suspensions to one legend nobody drafted. This is the NFL's top 10 supplemental draft players of all time. Here's the deal. The regular draft is in April. The supplemental draft is in July. It's for players who lost college eligibility after April, grades, legal troubles, or a coaching change. Teams submit a secret bid, what round they give up in the next April's draft. Highest bid wins, lose that pick next April. High risk, high reward. Let's get the honorable mentions out of the way. Dave Brown, 1992, first round pick for the New York Giants. Solid quarterback, had an 11-year career. Then we had Jalen Thompson, the last to actually be taken in the supplemental draft in 2019. But these 10, they made the cut. Number 10, Brian Bosworth, linebacker, Oklahoma. He was a 2-time Buckets Award winner, a consensus first-team All-American in 1985 and 1986, led Oklahoma to the 1985 National Championship. He finished 4th in the Heisman Trophy voting in 1986. He was selected by the Seattle Seahawks in the first round of the 1987 supplemental draft, costing Seattle his 1988 first-round pick. He signed the biggest rookie contract in the NFL history at the time, 10 years for $11 million. Then came Bo Jackson. Monday Night Football, the run, Bosworth got flagged. His NFL career was short. He played in just 24 or 44 games over 3 seasons. He was released after failing a physical exam. His stats, 175 tackles, 4 sacks, 3 fumble recoveries, not of Hall of Fame numbers. But his cultural impact was massive. He's one of the most famous supplemental draft picks ever, and for that, he's number 10. At number 9, Terrell Pryor, quarterback, Ohio State. He was a superstar in college, led the Buckeyes to a Sugar Bowl win. But in 2011, the tattoo scandal hit. Players traded memorabilia for cash. Pryor was suspended, then left school early. He attended the supplemental draft. The Raiders bid a 3rd rounder. At Oakland, he was a project, raw arm, incredible athleticism. Started 10 games in 2013, threw for 1,900 yards and ran for 576 more. But here's where it gets interesting. He switched to wide receiver. In 2016, with the Cleveland Browns, Pryor caught 77 passes for 1,007 yards in only his 2nd season playing that position. A supplemental draft pick who became a 1,000-yard receiver after being drafted as a quarterback. That's versatility. But his career was short. He never made a Pro Bowl. He lands at number 9. Number 8, Mike Wall, offensive guard, Navy, selected by the Green Bay Packers in the 2nd round of the 1998 supplemental draft. The Packers have only selected one player in the supplemental draft in their entire history, and it was Wall. He played 11 seasons, started for the Packers, the Carolina Panthers, and the Seattle Seahawks. He made the Pro Bowl in 2005. He wasn't flashy, but he was a mauler, the kind of guy who opens holes and protects quarterbacks. That's a solid hit. At number 7, Steve Walsh, quarterback, Miami. On the advice of his agent, Walsh let the draft deadline go by without filing. He entered the 1989 supplemental draft. The Dallas Cowboys bidded a 1st rounder, forfeiting their 1990 first-round pick to get him. He was supposed to be the future, but the Cowboys also drafted Troy Aikman that year. Walsh never got out of his shadow. He did carve out a solid 11-year career as a reliable backup. Here's the kicker. Walsh's trade to the New Orleans Saints in 1990 helped provide the foundation for the Cowboys' 2 Super Bowl victories. Sometimes a supplemental pick pays off in ways you don't expect. At number 6, Bobby Humphrey, running back, Alabama, left school early in 1989 due to academic suspension. The Denver Broncos beat a first-rounder in the 1989 Supplemental Draft. Rushed for over 1,100 yards, 7 touchdowns as a rookie. He was the Broncos' leader in both rushing and receiving in the Super Bowl. Followed that with a Pro Bowl season in 1990, rushing for over 1,200 yards and 7 touchdowns. He was the first player in Broncos history to rush for 1,000 yards in 2 consecutive seasons. Then came the holdout. Trade to Miami, out of the league by 1995. But for 2 seasons, he was one of the best backs in football. That's good enough for number 6. At number 5, Jamal Williams, defensive tackle, Oklahoma State, selected in the second round of the 1998 NFL Supplemental Draft by the San Diego Chargers. And what a pick it was. He played 12 seasons in San Diego, 148 games, 122 starts, 443 total tackles, 13 sacks, and 55 tackles for loss. He was named a 3-time All-Pro from 2004 to 2006 and a 3-time Pro Bowler from 2005 to 2007. He was named the Chargers Lineman of the Year 4 times, Defensive Player of the Year 3 times, and the co-MVP of the 2008 season. The Chargers ranked in the top 10 in run defense 7 times during his career, including number 1 in 1998 and 2005. He was inducted into the Chargers Hall of Fame in 2022. This is what a successful supplemental pick looks like. A second-round gamble that turned into a franchise cornerstone and a Hall of Fame caliber career. Jamal Williams is number 5. At number 4, Josh Gordon, wide receiver, Baylor. He was kicked off the team in 2012 for failing a drug test.
Off the weed!
The Cleveland Browns bid a second rounder, and in 2013, he was uncoverable. 1,600 receiving yards in 14 games. That's the 3rd most in a single season in NFL history, only behind Calvin Johnson and Jerry Rice. He led the league in receiving, first team All-Pro. He was 22 years old. Then came the suspensions from 2014 to 2019. He played just 11 games. If Josh Gordon had stayed clean, he'd be number 1 on this list. Instead, he's the ultimate what if. But for one unforgettable season, he was the best receiver on planet Earth. That earns him number 4. At number 3, Bernie Kosar, quarterback, Miami. Left after his junior year in 1985. The Cleveland Browns won a secret bidding war and took him with the first pick of the supplemental draft. He took Cleveland to 3 AFC title games in 4 years. He threw for over 23,000 yards. He didn't win the Super Bowl, but in Cleveland, he's royalty. The supplemental draft has never produced a better quarterback. Kosar was the gold standard. At number 2, Chris Carter, wide receiver, Ohio State, declared it eligible after signing with an agent while still in school. The Eagles took him in the 4th round of the 1987 supplemental draft. Then they cut him in training camp. Buddy Ryman famously said all he does is catch touchdowns. He went to Minnesota, 1,100 receptions, 130 touchdowns, Hall of Famer. The most successful player ever chosen in the supplemental draft, he's number 2.
In 1983, Tennessee tackle Reggie White dominated an entire
Hill is
season.
back to throw with good protection now. It breaks down. He's back at the 6-yard line by Reggie White. And Hilliard knocked down behind him. On
The number 1 supplemental draft pick of all time never even got picked. In 1984, the NFL held a supplemental draft for USFL and CFL players. One name was available, Reggie White. The NFL passed all 28 teams at the time. White entered the regular 1985 draft, went 4th overall. 198 sacks, 2-time Defensive Player of the Year, Super Bowl champion, Hall of Famer, the one who got away, the ghost of the supplemental draft. That's why he's number 1. The supplemental draft is football's lottery ticket. Most expire worthless. But every few years, Jamal Williams, a Chris Carter, a Josh Gordon reminds us why teams keep bidding. And sometimes the greatest legend is the one nobody had the guts to take.